just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed. Nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun.
The 14th Amendment was ratified in 1868. It was one of three, quote, Civil War amendments enacted following the close of the war. It was enacted as a response to the proliferation of, quote, black codes, limiting the rights of blacks throughout the South. It also overturned the Supreme Court decision in 1857, Dred Scott versus Sanford, that blacks, whether slave or free, neither were nor could ever become citizens of the United States. Ironically, however, the first case dealing with the interpretation of the 14th Amendment to reach the Supreme Court, the so-called Slaughterhouse Cases, had nothing to do with the rights of the newly freed slaves, but rather involved a lawsuit brought by a group of white businessmen. It all started in 1869 when the Louisiana state government created a statute that centralized the entire butchering and slaughterhouse business in New Orleans. It gave the Crescent City Livestock Landing and Slaughterhouse Company the exclusive right to deal in and butcher livestock within the city of New Orleans. You see, although the supposed or reported purpose of this law was to protect the public health by reducing citywide pollution and health risks created by the slaughter of animals, the Butchers' Benevolent Association, a group of butchers who had been left out of the corporation, filed suit in federal court.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the...
In a narrow 5-4 majority, the butchers' claims were rejected by the court, who ruled in favor of the state of Louisiana. Justice Samuel Miller wrote the majority opinion. He based it on a very narrow reading of the 14th Amendment and also made a very clear distinction between state and national citizenship. The Slaughterhouse Cases have never been technically overturned, although more conservative judges in later years in the Supreme Court did start to create opinions that kind of contradicted what the Slaughterhouse Cases opinions were. So even though the opinion still technically stands as far as the record books go, probably any judge you talk to today would... Well, I guess the only real question now is, what would I say if I were on the Supreme Court during the Slaughterhouse Cases? And I guess my answer would have to be I would rule in favor of the butchers, since, well, I just think monopolies are in general stupid. I guess monopolies are just wrong, stupid, mean, and all that other bad, negative stuff that I could say to you. I mean, how would you really feel if I came up to you and told you that from now on, I'm going to start one single organization made up of all the students in this entire school, and that you have to pay me if you want to be a part of it. And if you don't pay me, you don't get to be a student anymore. It's a pretty shitty example, but that's at the most basic level, that's what happened here. Yet the court still upheld it. I don't know, I guess it's kind of